Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Soulpreneur Scaling Stories. Today, I am going to talk about business audits and how you can do a self-audit. And this comes from the fact that I do a few of these per month. I've done like maybe a dozen or so since I've started. And I have seen the same three things that are kind of like the undercurrent of every single business audit. And I want to share those with you so that way you can use this framework and do this on yourself. So let's dive into it. The very, very first thing to notice is energy. And so what do I mean by that? What I mean is when I'm on an audit and somebody's talking me through their business, they're describing what they do, their services, their clients, all of that, their journey, I am looking for where they look to be more energized, where they're excited. And I'm looking for also on the other side where there seems to be more of a dip, where they're a bit more like frustrated or things feel a bit more heavy. And so that's what I do on my audits because this gives me a lot of data and I'm going to tell you what that is in a second. So for yourself, if you are doing this, if you want to audit your business on your own, and I highly, highly recommend that you do, I invite you to think about the different parts of your business. Think about your offers. Think about your clients. Think about all the different services that you do. Think about the things that you're doing to run your own business, where you're showing up for marketing things, all of that. And what are the spaces within there where you feel the most energized? And where is it that you feel really drained after you do something? So I'll give you an example. So for myself, when I get off of a coaching call, I feel super energized. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. Like, that was so good. It's like every single time, like, I love it. It energizes me. And something that drains me is making some content, depending on the type of content, for, let's say, like the Instagram, like graphics or things like that. Like, that feels draining to me. So what does this mean for, like, in this example? So for me, it means that coaching and coaching calls are amazing, right? Like, that's what I should be doing more of. And that means that I am in alignment with what I should be doing. Now, in your case, if you look at your services, at your different offers and things that you're doing, how much time are you spending doing things that you actually love doing, that energize you, that lift you up? Hopefully it's the majority of the time, right? Because if you're not doing that, then you should be thinking about like, oh, like maybe I should really be focused on these other things or creating a core offer on this other things that really are exciting to me and that I actually really enjoy doing. And then the things that feel heavier, how can we do them a little bit less? And so let's say if you're somebody who's like, oh my God, Instagram feels really draining. Well, can we lessen that and then focus our efforts on a different marketing platform or way to talk about what you do that feels better for you? Right? So it's all about the energy and where do you feel good? Where does it feel draining? And it's your business. And I guarantee that you are going to be making more money by doing the things that energize you more. So that's number one. Number two is your vision. And so something that in these business audits that I ask everybody is to talk about what their version of success looks like. Both in, okay, what's your dream life? And it's a Tuesday. What are you doing that day that would be really amazing? Like, what are you working towards? What does that Tuesday look like for you in detail? And the answers are really interesting, right? So it's both, I left out one thing, very important. Also, what is your financial goal? So what's your vision financially in your day-to-day, in your business? If you could wave a magic wand and in a year your business looks like exactly what would feel so good, what would that be? And what is the thing that I'm looking for here? It is that a lot of times what happens, especially with done-for-you service providers, is that they are building businesses reactively. It's kind of like putting the puzzle pieces together, building the plane as you go, taking on client by client, figuring it out, and just kind of like going, and never pausing to see, wait, is this actually aligned with the reason that I started my business in the first place? Like, is what I'm doing now, is this going to get me to my ultimate goal? And so for you, if you are doing a self-audit, I invite you to ask yourself to describe your version of success as concretely as you can. What hours are you working? What income are you looking for? What type of work would be really cool? How do you feel in your business, right? And like all those types of questions. And now look at your current business. Is what you're building right now going to get you to that goal, to that vision that you have? Or is it actually leading you somewhere else? And so this is really interesting because I find 9 times out of 10 that is not the case, right? The things that are being built now are sometimes they feel like placeholders, or sometimes they are actually like framed that way. It's like, oh, I'm doing this now, but what I really want to be doing is this other thing. And it's like, well, why are we doing this when we want right? Like, you want to be doing this other thing. We can do that. Or there was a lack of realization of, wait, this is my income goal, but the way I'm working now, it's impossible to actually make that income because of the capacity, right? I don't actually have the capacity to do that. And so these are really important questions to ask yourselves because you're working really hard and you want it to be worth something. So are you working really hard towards a goal, or are you working hard towards something that you haven't actually consciously chosen? And number 3 is the time reality check. So now you know your energy lies, you know what your goals are. And so now it's like, what are you doing right now? Where is your energy actually going? Like in reality, what is happening with your clients? Who's taking up the most hours? Are they somebody that you love working with? Are you doing things for them that you love doing? Is what you're working with on them the thing that's going to take you towards or move you closer towards your actual ultimate goal? What tasks are you doing that's taking up so much time in your week? Are you doing things, again, that's going to get you to where you want to go? Are you spending so much time on other things that are keeping you stale, that's keeping you plateaued, that's keeping you stuck where you are? And what's getting done out of habit versus out of intention? And so this is where either the math makes sense or it doesn't. And 9 times out of 10, again, there is at least one thing on that list that has nothing to do with the goal and really needs to be worked on clearing that away. So that way there is space and there is room and there are clear steps to get towards the goal that you have. So for yourself, I invite you to, if you're looking at your time and see, what's going on there, to do this audit. So where are you spending your time? So maybe over 3 days, over a week, honestly, as you can, actually, literally map out, say, okay, I'm spending this much time doing that, this much time doing that. And now look at that in comparison to your version of success from the second question, and how much of what you're doing is actually leading you to that thing. And so oftentimes this reveals a handful of things that feel productive, but that are not moving the needle for you. And then there's one obvious one that often comes up. That's a place that can start right away to be like, okay, let's shift this. And so then once we name all of these things, it's all brought to the surface. There are 2 layers of things that can be done to now start to move the needle. And the first one is the immediate action things, right? So there are quick wins that it's okay, we can very much remove this pain point, kind of things that can be done right now, pretty easily to get you closer to where you want to go. So for example, I have a couple of examples for you. So one client came, did an audit, and she was like, no, I'm happy. And I just need a little more consistency. But when we started to dig in, it became clear that what she actually wanted was a team. And she actually had this bigger vision, but she was holding herself back. She was using this gratitude as, no, I need to be thankful of what I have now, as this kind of barrier. It kind of felt easy and safe to stay here, but using it as a reason to not ask for more. And actually calling that out and naming it unlocked her in a way where now she feels more free and is excited to now build towards this bigger vision that she has, and she has given herself permission to do that. Another thing that Another thing that was uncovered, that's like an immediate thing, was about timing. So I had another person who had a clear vision of where she wanted to go, but she was like, no, but I can't do that yet. And I asked her, well, why not? And she didn't have a reason. Right. So it wasn't like timing. It wasn't anything. It was a story that she was telling herself. And she was telling herself that for so long that it felt like fact. And again, calling that out really shifted something for her in that moment. And she realized like, oh, I can build this thing right now. A third example is another client who kept circling back to whether she could afford to invest in herself and in her business. And what we uncovered here was a pattern of consistently putting everyone else's needs before her own, her clients, her family, her friends, everybody, even the pets. So the hesitation had nothing to do with her finances per se, but it had to do with her feeling worthy and where she was choosing to prioritize and her guilt about prioritizing herself. And then the last example I'll give you is that I had a client who was doing quote unquote the right things marketing wise, but she was saying that, oh, everybody that she talks to can't afford her. And we uncovered that the reason for that was that what she was saying, the messaging she was using was speaking to people at a newer business owners at that income level and not her actual ideal client's income level. So we just had one messaging shift and how she talked. And that was able to then talk to the people at a higher level who would be able then to afford her. And so those are some examples of some immediate things that come from these business audits. And I guarantee you that for yourself, you'll be able to have this realization of something, at least one thing that you can do right now in order to, again, move your business one step closer towards the bigger goal that you have. And then we have some longer term things, right? So things to kind of like restructure in the business itself. So getting the business model pointed towards the goal. And that looks different from everybody. But for some people, or it could be, actually it looks different for everybody, but I can almost guarantee you that most people need all of the different levels. So for some people, their biggest thing is the offer. So what they're selling doesn't actually match where they want to go, whether it be in terms of level, in terms of this is what their unique magic is, what they excel at, in terms of pricing or all of those things. And no amount of marketing is going to fix that, right? So that's one big thing. For others, maybe it's a pricing and boundary issue where it's like, okay, like this could work on paper, but it's built around having them always available, which means that their income is tied to hours, which means that, again, there's a cap. And if there's like 1 week where they're not feeling well, then everything falls apart, right? Or maybe for other people, it's more of something about their positioning and messaging, how they talk about their offers, how they talk about their business. And maybe they're attracting the wrong clients entirely, which means that they're always feel like they're starting from scratch, or they feel very like nebulous, very cloudy in terms of how they're actually talking about what they do, and they're not building momentum in bringing in clients consistently. And so when I use the word restructure, that can feel really heavy, but it's really not about blowing up your whole business. It's really about intentionally shifting one thing at a time in the right order. So that way you have this really strong foundation and you have so much clarity that now all the pieces are coming together and you can realize your dream. And that's something that happens over the course of a few months. It can be 3 months or 6 months, but it doesn't take years, right? It takes a few months, and it all starts with knowing what the core issues are that you are struggling with, because if you don't know that, you cannot fix it and you cannot get on the road to where you actually want to go to realize your dream. So the point of all of this is that you don't have to kind of just like go and like build your business reactively and not know what's going to happen with it, right? You having awareness, you need to do something. You need to take some sort of step. And it starts with this awareness, and then you build off of that. And then in such a short amount of time, then you actually have this business that you're like, holy shit, like I love this, like what happened, right? So let's recap. So the three questions to ask yourself are, hold on, I need to scroll back because I have this written down. One is the energy. So think about the different parts of your business, your clients, your offers, the work itself. Where does talking about it feel easy and alive, and where does it feel heavy or flat? Number 2 is the vision. So describe your vision of success as concretely as you can. Hours, income, type of work, how it feels day to day. Look at your current business. Is what you're building going to get you there, or are you going in some other direction entirely? And number 3, again, is about your time, where you're spending your time now. So do an audit, write down how you're spending your time over a few days a week as honestly as you can. Compare it to the success that you want to have, your goals, your vision. How much of that is actually getting you to that place? And then identify something you can do right now that will start shifting things to get you there. And if you just heard about all of that and you're like, okay, let me dive in, right? And like, amazing, please share with me what you found. And if you want somebody to do it with you, somebody who is an expert who has been doing this now and can help you to dig up all of these things, I am inviting you to do that with me. I have free business audits there, 45 minutes long. I ask you all the questions and I give you the immediate things and the longer term things that you need to do in order to realize your vision. Now, I only do a few of these per month. So grab your spot. It is dancingleafsolutions.com/audit. It will be linked below. And I cannot wait to see you on your business audit.